Morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Good. Excellent. It's good to see you both. And it's good to have this conversation today. So obviously, what we're going to talk about is incentive games, obviously, and find out a bit more about you guys and the current opportunities that are happening there at the moment. But first, I'll introduce myself. My name is Chris Loudon. I'm the UK Director of Technology and Digital for 920 Recruitment. We're a boutique STEM-related recruiter, headquartered in Glasgow, but recruit all over the UK. John, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. I'm John Gordon, the CEO, founder, and ultimate overlord here at Incentive Towers. I'm in charge, making sure everyone's counting the beans and working away. No, it's quite a laid-back atmosphere here. So, I'm the founder. I've been here in this helm for about 8-9 years.
Okay, perfect. Graham.
I'm Graham MacDonald. I'm the head of development at Incentive Games. I've been with Incentive Games for a lot less time than John has, for about 3 or 4 months. So my feet are just under the door. I'm obviously not currently in Incentive Towers, but I do go in there occasionally. And I'm really enjoying my time here so far.
Good. So it'll be great to obviously hear from one side of the fence about the creation of the business today, where it's at the moment, where it's came from, and then obviously it'll be great, in a senior position as well within the business, Graham, your initial first 3-4 months to find out a bit more about that. So to start off. Do you want to tell us a bit more about Incentive Games, John, and maybe the journey you guys have been on the last few years and where it came from, where the idea came from? That would be great.
Sure. Yeah. So we were founded about 8-9 years ago. I was a chemical engineer in BP at the time. I was a lead chemical engineer in Trinidad and Tobago, and I used to see the adverts for the American adverts. So FanDuel, DraftKings, fantasy sports betting, and I had a passion for fantasy sports and writing algorithms about football. So I quit my job at BP, moved back to the UK, and founded this company. And we started a fantasy football betting company where it was called Premier Punt, and we created apps and websites. Me and my 3 maths and engineering friends from university. We still kept our full-time jobs for a few years until we got a bit of traction. We became the #1 fantasy betting product in around UK and Europe. But we realized that fantasy sports itself wasn't sustainable as a business model. What we saw we were good at was acquiring customers, cross-selling them to other products. We were the #1 app in the UK App Store at the time, and we pivoted. We got some investment from the likes of Victor Chandler, former CEO and founder of BetVictor, and some other people that helped us pivot to being more a free-to-play games provider. So now Incentive Games, we sold Premier Punt brand, and we pivoted from being a B2C supplier to a B2B supplier. So we are #1 in the world. We supply games on a business-to-business level to different companies worldwide in all continents. And more recently, we've signed the likes of Bet365 to supply games to them, free-to-play games, and free-to-play games to the likes of FanDuel in the US, Betway, DafaBet, and many others.
Fantastic. That's quite an envious client list there. So well done there. And Graham, I know you've been in the door 3 or 4 months, but do you want to tell us about your experience so far and a bit about your team and the culture you're creating there?
Yeah, it's an amazing culture in Incentive Games. Everyone's really proactive and really happy to be working here. It's a really good culture, and it's good to come into a team like that where everyone's happy. And the real objective currently is to try and grow that and make that a bit bigger and get more people, because we are currently two teams of developers, and they're working away with a couple of leads. We want to make that 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 100, 1,000 teams. Maybe not quite that many in the next year, but certainly want to grow it over the next year. And so it's great to have really proactive developers, people who want to grow in their roles as well, which is something that we're really looking at the moment, is how we entice people to like push themselves forward and maybe become a little bit team leads themselves and start up their own teams, so that we can really start growing teams organically, as well as obviously bringing in new great talent from Scotland and beyond.
So obviously we've heard about the great client list you guys have, but Graham, in terms of, I mean, you're seeing it firsthand. If you are a developer, right, what's interesting about the kind of stuff you work on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I mean, I think that the core thing for a lot of the guys is it's really fast paced. It's really exciting, and sometimes fast paced, when you say that about a job, means it's chaotic, but that's really not the case here. It's a lot of really great projects and really great clients, but because it's a small team, there's also a lot of really good opportunities for the guys in the team to really make a difference, to push their own ideas. You know, we've been talking about stuff even just this morning about ways we're going to change the way we work within some of our repositories and that kind of stuff. It's exciting, and because it's small and growing, you know, there really is an opportunity for somebody in the development team to make a real name for themselves within the company and go really, really far and really fast.
Okay, well, that's great. I think one of the things, you know, because of the clients you're working on and the impact on a daily basis you guys will make to those businesses, that's a big selling point for people. But these clients, you know, how has business affected you guys over the last couple of years with regards to COVID? I think that, you know, you look at the free to play game space, I would have thought that would have grown. Is that the case, John?
Yeah, I think when we started working with you guys in 2019, just before the pandemic hit, I think we had about maybe 8 employees. You 920 have helped us get to 30 plus, and we're getting to probably hopefully by about 60 plus by the end of this year. Mostly developers, designers, software delivery managers, and top technical people. And yeah, it has exploded. You know, we at the time of the pandemic, it was quite a scary thing, because we are, as a free-to-play games provider, we were building games based on real-life sports. So the Euros was cancelled, so a lot of our contracts for that was cancelled. But rather than feeling sorry for ourselves and, you know, because and licking our wounds, what we decided to do is double down on it. No one went on furlough. We didn't let anyone go. We gave guys pay rises. We trebled our headcount within the 12 months. We used you guys to get the best people, and it's worked out well for us. And it has exploded. We've got all types of games, all types of free-to-play games, and it's exploding. And when you deliver one game well, and that's the key thing here is, you know, the best talents from the likes of yourselves is the most important thing, because it's about, we can sign a client, but you need to deliver. Once we deliver with that client, they want more and more content all the time. And we've got ourselves in this position where, you know, customer acquisition and customer retention is quite literally the most important thing for these top billion-dollar companies, and incentive games is a solution for that. So they need to rely on us, and we need to deliver, and we can only deliver with the best people. And it's not about adding more and more and more developers. It's about making sure that the quality of the developers is good enough, and the internal processes are such that Graham and other people within the company are making sure that we're not just putting out more and more content. It needs to be the best of the best. If our content is not as good as Instagram and Facebook, the users will not use them. We will not stick, and ultimately will not deliver what the client needs. So it really is a testament to the people in and around Scotland and Edinburgh. Scotland, Glasgow, Edinburgh area, and beyond. We've got lead developers in Spain, all over the world. So, and thanks 920 for getting us in.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. But I suppose that's very relative now, because you've got people working remotely all over the UK, across Europe. I think we were even having someone interview in Argentina recently. So it's almost like a global business already. But I don't really think there's many companies in the central belt of Scotland that you can go to as a developer and actually impact on $1 billion businesses the way you guys are doing. So, fair play to you guys, and a big well done on your growth as well.
Thank you.
So, I suppose one of the main things, people are going to think about, you talked about getting to 60 people by the end of this year. What is the sort of 2, 3, 4 year plan for you guys? What's the future for Incentive Games? Where do you see it?
So it's a good question. We're just about to sign an esports company as a client, and I'm just telling the guys about our ideas for the metaverse. We've got games for different industries. We signed PaySafe, a multi-billion-dollar company, for a payments company where we do mini games at the end of the transaction, and we are looking at the likes of McDonald's, ASOS, Booking.com, Amazon. We've got games for them as well. So it's really all, if you can do it in this industry, which we've nailed it. We can then step into the metaverse and e-commerce and beyond. So ultimately, believe it or not, our goal in this year and next is to not be sold, because we're getting offers all the time, and we're just trying to keep it private ourselves.
Brilliant. So there's big plans there. It's not just in the sports and gambling arena. So that's also good to hear. So what about the here and now then? Graham, what kind of people are you looking for at the moment for Incentive Games, for your teams?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit there with your previous comment about the kind of globalization of all of this. This is something that it is a challenge as well as being a really great opportunity for companies like us, in that we don't need, because of the pandemic and the fact that a lot of people now work remotely, we no longer really need to cast our net just to central belt of Scotland, but we can start looking in other parts of the world as well. But the kind of talent we're looking for is right across the spectrum from a development point of view. We're looking for really good, keen, straight out of university graduates who are looking to get their first real experience of like working within a development team like that. And we're looking for like really senior lead developers as well, who can come in and hopefully push the expansion of the number of teams that we've got from 2 to 3 to 4, as I say. So there's not really any limits on it. We're not particularly, although we have our own technologies that we use, we're very tied to React and Node as our technologies. We're actually after just really good web developers. We're after people who know web technology and who know technology and who can code, and the technology tools come later. So it's really the sky's the limit as far as we're concerned in terms of the kind of people we're looking at. And certainly since I've been here, I've been in interviews with people pretty much straight out of university and people who've got 10, 20 years in the industry, and all of these are people that we consider.
Okay, good. And I know looking at leads and senior developers at the moment is a major priority. That's something we're obviously pushing
Definitely.
out quite aggressively at the moment. But what for a lead for you? What sort of skill set background are you looking for a lead developer at this stage, Graham?
Well, certainly somebody. I mean, the clues in the title, lead. We're looking for somebody who will lead the team. We're not looking for somebody who's going to sit and write code all day in a lead developer. They need to understand code, obviously, but we really need somebody who's going to take the really great, more junior talent and more mid-range talent that we've got within the company and help bring them up to their levels. That's what we want. We want somebody who's going to basically say, hey, I've got these 4 or 5 really great guys that are working in my team. They should all be leads, this time next year or the year after, and we should have 5 separate teams being run by these guys, and that should be the real core priority for a lead developer is to really advance the talent that we already have, and that's really core for us, because obviously, whilst bringing in great senior developers and great lead developers is really important, domain knowledge is also really important. So people who've been here for a long time, will eventually start making the best lead developers as we go forward.
Okay, good. Okay, well, that was a great summary. Thank you. And I suppose just taking away the work elements of it, I always like to, you're a business that wants every employee coming in to feel part. What benefits, do incentive games offer people that come and join them, John, as well?
Well, we're passionate about giving as much as we can to the employees, and the ones, in fact, all of our employees get share options in the company, a company that's now worth north of $100 million, and we want the people that not only do you get the options package when you start with us, the people that take the initiative and move up the ranks, they are the ones that help us increase our revenues and make the games better. They get even on better packages. So not only that, is we're completely flexible. The director Stuart and I, people come to work, very flexible. We've got two floors here in the middle of Edinburgh, Frederick Street. I'm sitting in the gym at the moment. We've built everything bespoke. The guys can come and go as they please. And with that autonomy, we get so much back, and we're never, I call myself an overlord, but we're far from it. We never are, standing over people. But I tell you what, when the going gets tough and we need to deliver, they do every single time. So it is about, competitive salary, working for the sexiest company in the UK, pretty much, one of the fastest growing companies in the UK for sure. And having where else would you have ownership in such a fast-growing company? Autonomy, phenomenal package, salary. So, and we look at, and ultimately there are software developers, and then there's incentive games developers, and that's we've got your starter pack, your tracksuit, your number, and the training. Graham, we've got Mike Stephen, who was at OpenBet for 15 years, built these things from scratch. Graham and the lead developers are quite literally phenomenal. And with the leaders within the company, like myself and Stuart, given full autonomy in the packages, we really truly believe that this is a phenomenal opportunity for developers and designers around the world.
Brilliant. Well, look, guys, as I've already said, it's been a pleasure working with you guys, and I would like to take the time to thank you very much for spending time with me and answering my questions today. I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the day, and thank you very much for your time, guys.
Thank you.